heart like to see, to learn and explore, and to make everything beautiful that will be the life. With this thought, I, Dr. Rekha Doot, along with all the committee members, would like to extend very good morning wishes and greetings of the day to all the dignitaries, eminent speakers, our eminent guests and participants on behalf of IPS Academy, Institute of Engineering and Science. In this post-pandemic situation, the aim and objective to conduct this FDP is to give new vigor to teaching and management skills because the society needs active, informed, and responsible citizens who are willing and able to take responsibility for themselves and their communities and can manage their life in skilled manner. One of the very important objective is also to enrich the knowledge of faculties and participants from various disciplines through interaction with eminent personalities. Before I proceed for the virtual formal welcome, we would like to congratulate AICT Atal Academy for their Guinness Book of World Record to conduct largest number of FDPs across the nation. So, with this technological advancement, the work done by the Atal Academy in the field of education to bring all the four directions on one platform and to cater all the participants with vast knowledge of various thrust areas is really remarkable. In the field of education, IPS Academy, Institute of Engineering and Science, has also set a benchmark. IPS Academy, Institute of Engineering and Science, a UGC autonomous institute affiliated to RGPB, is one of the leading private self-financing institute developed to impart quality engineering education with the sole motto of knowledge, skills, and values. The institute was established in 1999 and ranked 42 among the top engineering colleges in country and 32 among the private engineering colleges in country by Times of India and is top performed institute for education. Now, I would like to welcome our eminent guest, Mr. Ravindra Kumar Soni, sir, Director, Atal, AICT Atal Academy. I'm expecting the presence soon of Mr. C.S. Verma, sir, Head Regional Officer MP, and I also welcome you, sir. I would also like to welcome Chief Patron, Architect Achal K. Chaudhary, sir, President, IPS Academy. Our patron, Dr. A.G. Kothari, sir, Advisor and Dean Academics of IPS Academy, Institute of Engineering and Science. Dr. Archana K. Chaudhary, ma'am, our Principal Director, IPS Academy, Institute of Engineering and Science. I would also like to welcome Dr. Rajesh Kaushal, sir, Head Chemical Engineering and one of the eminent member of our advisory committee, and all the eminent members of the advisory committee too. Along with this, I would also like to extend a heartfelt welcome to all the deans of the academy, heads, faculty members, and all the participants once again, and all the committee members of this organizing event. And with this, I would like to invite our eminent guest, Mr. Ravindra Kumar Soni, sir, to express his views about this event and to bless us with his knowledge of wisdom. I would like to invite you, sir, kindly hand over this platform, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rekha.
Thank you, sir.
Sri Achal K. Chaudhary ji, the President of IPS, Madam Dr. Archana Kirti, the Principal of the Institute, My friend Dr. C.S. Vamaji, I think he has not joined, likely to join. Madam Dr. Subha Tiwari ji, Dr. Rekha Dut, who is the coordinator of this FDP. Other deans of IPS, deans, HOD, faculty of IPS, and the participants joining this program and joining this inaugural session from across the country. Very good morning to you all.
Very good morning, sir.
The topic which you have chosen, I think it's really wonderful, and I congratulate to you for this particular topic, rejuvenating teaching skill and life skill management. It's a need of the hour, and therefore this is a thrust area for us.
Yes.
I just wanted to share that initially we were conducting the FDPs in only technical area. That is, we chosen at 9 thrust areas.
Yes.
I just wanted to share the little bit journey of Atal Academy also. Around 3 years before, AICT prepared one perspective plan for the country for the technical education. And in that perspective plan, the committee recommended that there are 9 technologies which are going to prevail in the country, and these technology will help a lot in growth of the nation.
Yes.
These technologies which they recommended are artificial intelligence, data science, machine learning, deep learning, 3D printing, AR, VR, quantum computing. A few more, around 9 technologies they identified, and the AICT started professional, I should say the FDP and professional equipment of the technical teachers across the country through AICT Training and Learning Initiative. The AICT Training and Learning Academy, the Atal Academy, came into existence because only that we had to promote 9 thrust areas, 9 technologies across the country, and faculty which studied 5 years before, 10 years before, 15, 20 years before, they need to upgrade because technologies are changing every year or all the time. And therefore, new technologies have come up. So we started FDPs in these 9 thrust areas, 1920. In 1920, we sponsored around 200 programs, 200 FDPs, and only 190 FDP could be conducted. 10 FDP could not be conducted because of the pandemic, and these 10 FDP were planned in the last of March. Around 10,000 faculty were benefited in 1920 out of these 200 FDP. FDP means always face to face. We never thought of it as online. It was always face to face. And that was the trend across the country, across the world, I should say. Or sometime it was blended. Few sessions might be in online mode, live mode. There's a possibility, but it was never like fully online. When pandemic happened, it was very difficult to conduct these FDPs, and we had planned 500 FDP initially. And we invited proposals in March, and in fact, this proposal of IPS also was given in March only. So initially, we planned 500 FDP in face-to-face mode. And after 15 days only, we realized that it is not possible to conduct offline face-to-face FDP. So we started experimenting online FDP. We started experimenting in April, conducted a few online FDP with the institutions, those who conducted offline FDP last year in 1920, and they also applied in 2021. So there was a huge success, and it was of course beyond imagination to us. In just one day, around 30,000 registration was made by participants. And then after 3-4 hours, we had to stop the registration for those FDPs. Around initially, we floated around 39 FDP. For those 39 FDP, in 3-4 hours only, the registration was full. And then we started to complain that they are not able to register. And then we told them, just wait, we will add some more FDPs. Then we added some more FDPs, around 83 FDPs we added, and we conducted this online FDP in April, May, and June. The 3 months we conducted We had a lot of requests from other faculty members, and therefore we had to scale this activity. Response was very good from participant side, from the institution side. Institutions like IPS helped a lot to conduct these FDPs, and we scaled that activity up to 500 FDPs. We planned this 500 FDP up to November, and we thought initially itself that if now by November all FDPs are conducted and the response is good, we'll scale further to 1000 FDP. Now, by the end of August, September, we came to know that these 500 FDP will be conducted, and there will be requirement to scale further. So we scaled further, and then we announced total 1000 FDP up to March. So as of now, we have already conducted more than 550 FDPs. This is already over. Now this is third phase of FDP this year started. The first phase we call in April, May, and June. That was experimental phase, and then second phase 500 FDP, and now third phase another 500 FDP we planned, and now it's going on. Out of these FDP, the total aim that 1.5 lakh faculty may be benefited. These 1.5 lakh may not be unique faculty. Maybe FDP people will be benefited, but unique faculty, research scholar and PG scholar will be more than 1 lakh. Looking into these 1000 FDP and more than 1 lakh faculty, research scholar and PG students are going to be benefited out of these FDP. The World Book of Record, I would like to correct over here, it is not Guinness Book of Record, it is a World Book of Record, London.
Okay.
World Book of Record, UK, has recognized as the world largest online live FDP initiative in the world. Because pandemic happened.
Excellent, sir. Excellent.
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 Thank you so much. Pandemic happened first time, and in pandemic, this scaled activity is planned, and therefore they recognize as a the world record. It was announced by Honorable HRD Minister through video message last 23rd of November. There were many programs inaugurated almost every Monday earlier, but now we have stopped because it has become a regular business. One day, 64 online FDP were inaugurated. 67. So that is the largest number inaugurated one day. So large number of institutions are conducting FDPs across the country, and simultaneously they are conducting. I'll be requesting my colleague, my husband, otherwise we will be able to communicate. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. I think it's a new normal, and in the new normal, some what do you call? We have to take care of that. Our microphone is muted when we are in online. When we are offline, it is not required at all. So we are also becoming used to. Sometimes I also forget to unmute and keep on speaking. That happens. So there's a part of life. Now it's a new normal era. We are able to do that. These technologies were existing even before pandemic. We were conducting some meeting with these technologies, with these online live sessions, but we were not much comfortable. Psychological barrier was there. Because of this pandemic, the entire activity of the world become standstill, and therefore we had to go online. All psychological barrier vanished actually. And now become very comfortable. Even within a month, we become comfortable to use these online technologies. So that was the problem, and we converted it into opportunity. I just wanted to share, like Madam Rekha was telling me, the IPS is a prominent institution over here. I know that the IPS is a very prominent in Indore. I'm PhD from IIPS Indore, from DAV only. So I know almost all the institutions in Indore. I belong to MP only from Jabalpur. So I know the institution from across the MP. So that's why the reason when Madam Rekha requested me, and I thought, yes, I will be there, I'll be joining. I was also delighted to see Madam Archana, because I met Madam Archana during UKRI, and IPS planned this UKRI in March. I had to come. I was also the participant of that UKRE third phase had to happen in IPS only. I understand that IPS is very active, very dynamic, and continuously, whether it's offline program or online program, you come forward and conduct these programs. So I congratulate IPS, in fact, for this kind of programs. I congratulate the management team of IPS giving wonderful support, wonderful academic support, catering to the population of the Indore, population of Madhya Pradesh, and the entire country. I also congratulate Madam Rekha Doot because it was very difficult to get Atal Academy program, though it is a very new initiative of AICT. It is a only second year, a very, you can say, 2-year-old baby initiative. But there was a huge rush to conduct online to conduct programs, FDPs. 5,000 applications we received, and out of 5,000 we had to finalize 500. And there are
वो टाइम दिया नहीं है, वो अपने आप बंद है अपने आप। आप वो मत करना।
So only 20% coordinator could get those Atal Academy FDPs. So I congratulate the coordinator. I also congratulate.
Thank you so much, sir.
I also congratulate to participants, because even participant side also there was a huge rush. And initially, as you know, that in offline the 50 number of participants was maximum. We made it maximum 50 participants. But when it is online, the comfortability is there. We allowed up to 200 participants. But we understand if 200 are there, 150 or sometime 100 also joining. So at least double, triple of the number which actually allowed in the offline FDP are joining. And that is the reason the number of participants in entire initiative has been scaled up. In 500 FDP initially, which we planned in offline mode, we targeted around 25,000 participants. But in the same number, 500 FDP, which we scaled now 1,000 actually. So in 1,000 now we are targeting 1.5 lakh. So because of this pandemic, we scaled the activity. The fund requirement is also very less. We initially planned to give 2,10,000 rupees per FDP for offline mode. But in online, we curtailed the cost, and now it is a 40%. We are only paying 93,000. And it is surprising to everyone, many of the organization, though we are not asking them to refund if something is not spent, but some of the organizations are requesting us the fund is not spent and we would like to refund it. So, but we are telling that since Inter are able to exchange, so they can spend comfortably, not to refund it. So, a big thanks to everyone, those who are involved in the conduction of and those who are joining this FDP. This particular FDP is going to benefit the participants a lot, in fact. And it's not only benefiting 5 days, but after that, I know that thought process is going to change. And that thought process will definitely going to change the life. Sometime, many of the participants may feel like their life is changed in these 5 days only, because their thought process will change. So this kind of programs must be conducted across the country. And for that also, I'm highly thankful to the institute and I congratulate to the institutes. I just wanted to share something with participants. During the online FDP, what happened, sometime the priority changes. We get enrolled or we are admitted, we online join, and then we do some other work. So my humble request to all the participants, give 5 days and 4.5 hours per day to not to attend the FDP. You'll be getting definitely certificate, but not to this FDP, not to attend this FDP, rather for your life management, for changing your life, give your 5 days, and I hope you'll get a better fruit, a better quality of the FDP you'll be getting. So with these words, I just wanted to inform something. After 5 days, the coordinator has to give attendance on portal. Coordinator has to feed marks, and after these two formality, the participants has to give the feedback from their own login. So this is the entire FDP management has been put online before FDP, after FDP, and even during the FDP also. This entire FDP management is online. So this is also the unique. The FDP management is online. We are very comfortable in managing online FDP. So thank you all. Thanks a lot for inviting me. I feel proud. I feel honored to be associated with you. I feel like I am at home. So thanks a lot once more. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, sir. And really, we are honored and privileged to have with us in time. And extremely sorry for getting delayed with few minutes due to this technological issues. And I once again appreciate the efforts of AICT Atal Academy to bring the four corners of the nation onto a one platform and to get benefited all the participants out of this. And really, first of all, I would like to correct my mistake that the word I use, that is Guinness Book of World Records. It's a World Book of Records, sir, and I'm extremely sorry for the same. And rightly said by you, sir, though this is the new normal era, and looking towards the situation, we selected the topic that is the rejuvenating teaching skills and life skill management, because this is now a part of life to polish our skills day by day and to enhance and to add feathers of success in the history of individuals, groups, and institutes and organizations. And you are contributing a lot, and our institute also. Thank you to our principal, ma'am, Achal Chaudhary, sir, and all of you to be a part of this event. And one more thing, sir, that like you appreciated our institute, one request is here from my, it's my personal perspective to you, that like you are giving privilege to all the technical departments, like you have recognized the importance of this topic. So it's my personal request that you should also give importance to the humanities and applied science department as well, because without this we cannot even imagine about the first step of the success in life. This is what my personal experience suggests. So this is my.
I would like to intervene a little bit. I'm sorry for intervening. You rightly said that these FDPs or the activities to be scaled in humanities also. I just want to share that initially last year we planned for 9 technologies, FDP 9 technologies only. But this year in 2021, around 110 thrust areas are identified. And these are in management. These are in management, pharmacy, architecture, then engineering, then computer science, and also in life management. So there is a huge number of FDPs in life management. There's in yoga and psychology part, and the humanities also. So there are many FDPs are already being conducted, and next year again it will be conducted in similar fashion. Maybe next year after NEP, as you know that it will be multidisciplinary. So it will not be only technical in all nooks and corners, and in almost all the discipline of education, these FDPs will be conducted. So nice suggestion. We already on the way to incorporate that.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. And I wish that your dreams and aspirations, what your team is decided to explore, that is going to be fulfilled within a very short, forthcoming years and very short span of dreams are part of. And with this, I would like to request Principal Ma'am, Dr. Archana Kirti Chaudhary, to express her a few words of guidance and blessings to us, because it is rightly said that behind every success there is a hand of woman, and that we always recognize that each and every moment she is always guiding us. She is the source of motivation to the Engineering College of IPS Academy, and the result is here, the fruitful result I can say that we have got with the autonomy. Thank you so much, and I would like to welcome our Principal Ma'am to hand over this platform, ma'am. Please.
Thank you, Dr. Rekha.
Thank you, ma'am.
First of all, a very good morning to one and all the members. On behalf of IPS Academy, I heartily welcome our guest, Dr. Ravindra Kumar Soni ji, the Director at the Academy. I really congratulate you, sir. I really congratulate AICT for organizing more than 1,000 FDPs, and the number of faculties benefited are more than 1 lakh. I'm really creditable, sir. It is not a simple job. It is really a very difficult job, but you make it possible. Thank you, sir. And thank you for giving us opportunity to be the part of your success, to be the part of the journey towards success of AICT, for getting this FDP programs and all. Dr. Rekha Madam, the coordinator of this program, the faculty members, head of the departments who worked really hard for giving shape to this program. I again welcome all the esteemed expert members, from National Institutes of Technologies, IITs, and IIMs also, and the expert members from IIMs, IITs, and NITs, and all the advisors. The outcome of these advices is the success of this IPS Academy. IPS Academy, well said, it is a UGC Autonomous Institute affiliated to RGPV, offering quality technical education with the sole motto of knowledge, skill and values since 1999, offering UG and PG programs. And fortunately, all UG programs are accredited by National Board of Accreditation. As far as regarding the workshop, or rather we can say FDP, one book, one pen, one child, and the teacher can change the world. Yes. Of course, teachers influence the life of the students much more significantly even than we can imagine. Teacher with right skill inspires and influence entire student life and their surroundings. They are the instruments who can ignite powerful thoughts in students, helping them unleash their true potential. So teachers are not only the teachers, they are actually the guardians of the students. To bring the significant and long-standing impact, it is required for the teachers to have certain skills. The most important skill is the discipline, the management, the passion, the teaching skill, strong communication skill, and the most important, the engagement of the students. Teachers should learn how to engage the students successfully, how to motivate the students, because he himself should be motivated or should be passionate enough so that he can spread the positive energy among the students. And the students need only the support. We are the persons who show the path to the students. This is actually the student who have to move on that path. But the most important thing which we should learn, I think Professor Soni will agree with me, because we learned a lot during Ukeri workshop that how the student should be engaged in the class. Right, sir? We learn a lot that how the student should be engaged in the class. So if we will be successful, yes, sir. If we will be successful in engaging the students in the class, I am sure that we will be able to measure their outcomes. We will be able to achieve the outcomes which we have set for the students, for the particular program, for the particular course. So the most important thing which I feel that is required among the faculty members is their mentorship skill. So the teachers should be the mentors. They should have a strong bonding with the students. They are the right persons who are giving shape to the dreams of the students. So we allow the students to see the dreams, and we try our level best to give shape to the dreams of the students. And I'm really thankful to the AICT for giving us opportunity for moving towards our mission. Thank you, sir. And thank you all the members and all the coordinators and all the participants who are making this program successful. And I also request all the participants, as well said by Dr. Soni, that this is not a simple program. This is the program which can change your thought process. So the change of thought process is basically required for achieving our goal. Our ultimate goal is for the benefit of the students. the whole system, the AICT or UGC or DT or everything, and all the government agencies and all the reputed institutes and all the institutes, everybody, all stakeholders, the most important agenda is the benefit of the student. The outcome is, our outcome is measured by the outcome of the students. So we should have a strong bonding with the students. Thank you, everyone, and be active during the program. Attend the program 100%. So I'm then sure that you will definitely get the output of this program, and the outcome will be measurable, sir. I ensure you the outcome of this FDP will be measurable, because this is our institute is having all UG programs accredited. We understand the importance of measurement of outcomes. So thank you very much. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am. And you have rightly said that these events are organizing every time to change the thought process. Like sometimes we have seen that few participants are there to catch that opportunity of certificates and all that. But we are lucky enough to have, I would like to share with Soni sir that like you have said, the registration numbers we cannot stop and we cannot count, because apart they crossed the limitation of 300s, and still the day before the yesterday we were getting the request to admit for this FDP. So I expect in future events we are going to cross this limit of 300 also. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, sir. And finally,
Again, I will intervene. I'm extremely sorry. I have some other engagement. So just pardon
yes,
me.
sir.
In
Yes,
between, I
sir.
will leave. So thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And, a big congratulations to the entire team, to the IPS.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Thanks, sir.
you.
I'll just
And
leave.
Thank you for sparing your
Okay.
valuable time.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And thank you, sir, once again from all of us here. And I think Mr. Verma, sir, regional head of AICT, is not available with us right now due to some network issues. But we expect his presence in future event also. I think so. And finally, I would like to welcome to those who believe in the power of dreams and who would like to join us in the exploration of life. I would like to conclude the inauguration session with the words of mine that let's go for voyage of learning, deep like a sea, sink into it to see the unleashing world, to enjoy the beauty, the serenity, and think how to achieve this destined world waiting for us. Thank you once again to all the speakers that were waiting in the lobby, and those who spared their valuable time for us. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, all the participants. And with this, I would like to request Mrs. Neetu Shrivas, ma'am, to continue with the first session. I am handing over this platform to Mrs. Neetu Shrivas, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am, and thank you so much.
Yes, good morning all. I
Good
extend my
morning.
welcome to all, and the speakers for today are Dr. Archana Parashar, Dr. Ashok Sachdeva, and Dr. Shubha Tiwari. I would like to give the bio note of the very first speaker, Dr. Archana Parashar. She is Associate Professor, IIM Raipur, and her topic for today is classroom management, student-teacher interaction, and feedback. Dr. Parashar has 12 years experience of academic. She has done her PhD and MPhil from Devi Ahilya Vishwavidhyaya University, MP. She has selected on merit to attend a global colloquium on participant-centered learning at Harvard Business School, USA. Several of her research papers have been published in international and national journals. Her research areas consist of business communication, interpersonal skills, and written executive communication, among others. So I would like to welcome Dr. Archana Parashar. Sir, ma'am, please kindly.
Am I audible? Yes, Neetu ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. Happy
Okay.
learning to all. Now I hand over this thing to Dr. Archana Parashar, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. Very warm good morning to everybody. And I just want to confirm whether my screen is visible to everybody. Yes, Neetu ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. It's
Yes, ma'am.
visible.
It's
The
visible.
screen is visible, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. So a very good morning to everybody. And as Professor Soni and Professor and Dr. Archana ma'am, as she told that this is the new normal and to engage students is really a very difficult task. And we equally agree that when we talk about classroom management or when we talk about student-teacher interaction, we really feel that yes, engaging students, pulling students into the classroom is really a very difficult task for all of us. And we all, being into the same fraternity of professors, we all feel that it is equally challenging too. And in this era of COVID, we all feel that how to engage the students, it has become really very difficult. So my sessions are focused, this particular session is focused on classroom management and the student-teacher interaction that we have in the classroom. And we can say nowadays, like online classroom also, we need to interact a lot with the students. And it's really very difficult when we have a classroom size of large students. And I'll be talking about that further in my session. But to quickly begin with the session, a warm welcome to all the participants from across the country, and my heartfelt thanks to Professor Dr. Chaudhary ma'am, Dr. Rekha ma'am, and the entire team, the Humanities Department, who has really put in a lot of effort for this program. I just wanted to ask few of the students, a few of the participants, if you are engaged in any pre-classroom activity with the students or post-classroom activity. We all are active in the classrooms, isn't it? But I just wanted to ask you if any of the pre-classroom activity or pre-classroom engagement with the students is there for you, and the post-classroom engagement. I just want to, I think that it can be in the discussion mode rather than teaching with the PPTs. So I prefer talking to my participants a lot, and that is why I want to talk to you people, that how many of you really engage yourself in pre-classroom discussions with the students, any type of discussion. It can be based on classroom activity. It can be somewhat informal also. It can be like giving mentorship to the students. It can be like being a counselor to the students, or it can be a guidance for the students. So yes, any of the participants, yes.
Hello, ma'am. This is Priyanka Kumari. Can I share my experience?
Yes, yes, sure, Priyanka, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, many a time we have a pre-classroom discussion. It may be related to the topic which we are going to start in the next session or in the upcoming session.
Yes.
So that also get a brief idea that what a new topic is being introduced, and they can also come up with certain kind of preparation so that it becomes more interactive and more meaningful. But it becomes a two-way process rather than becoming a one-way process. Apart from that, I mean, it creates a kind of interest, a better level of interest among the student, and that helps us in creating a interaction with the student even after the session ends.
Okay. So yes, very good. But that is, I think, Priyanka ma'am, that is what we do in the classroom, that we tell the students that what will be upcoming next in our session so that you can come prepared for that. But any other, apart from the session or apart from the teaching areas, any other discussion that you have with your students? That's what I want to know. Or it is only focused on the teaching? Yes.
No, ma'am. Many time discussions are also related to the career path, like what are the areas where they want to see themselves after a certain number of years, like many time during internship or project placement, because every subject has different thirst areas. So they are many a time like I am good at this also, I am good at this also, or I am not very good at this. So which will be the suitable area for me? So these kind of discussions often happen with the students, or sometimes like in a way like what subject will be more suitable if there are certain floating or optional subjects. So these kind of discussions.
Yes, yes. Very good. Any other participant? Yes, they would like to share his or her views. Anyone or two more? Yes, fast. Yes, thank you, Priyanka.
Ma'am.
Yes,
Good morning, ma'am.
good morning.
Ma'am, myself, Rhythm Pathak from Amritsar College of Engineering and Technology.
Yes. Warm welcome to you and good morning. Yes. Can I have your views?
Yes, ma'am. I want to tell, like, I want to, share my point of view. Like in our college, because we are into the Department of Management Studies, so
Yes.
usually what we do is before our lecture starts, we give time to the students for newspaper reading.
Yes, yes. That's true. Anything else?
Somehow we discuss news with them.
Okay, so good idea. And yes, because that is also one way of engaging the students, and the students also are up to date with the current affairs. So I think that is a very good idea to start with, especially the morning lectures. Very good. Yes. Any other participant would like to share? Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, ma'am, this is Dr. Mahesh Palkar.
Yes, yes. Dr. Mahesh.
From,
Yes. Good morning, sir.
Morning, madam. I want to share my experience.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, regarding engagement of pre-classroom or
Yes.
apart from classroom.
Yes.
Yeah, I always interacted with the students, especially who are slow learners.
Yes, yes, sir.
So I am a pharmaceutical chemistry person.
Okay, sir.
I'm into pharmacy profession.
Yes, yes, sir.
And chemistry is such a subject which is highly volatile.
Yes, yes.
So whatever we teach in classroom, the students tends to, forget soon,
Yes.
very soon.
Yes, yes, sir.
So, and that too, if a student is very slow learner and with poor basics, it is very difficult to learn chemistry.
Yes, yes, sir.
So I always get engaged myself with promote the learning of.
Yes, yes. So that is true, and that we as teachers or as professors, we have to continuously delve into it. Yes. Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am.
Yes.
Can we have question answer sessions in the end?
Yes, yes, we'll have that in the end. It was just, I just
Okay.
wanted to start with the participants. So I thought that
Yes,
we
yes.
can at least discuss. So yes,
Sure, ma'am.
as professor said that remembering something is very important and very good. And I think all the professors, we all make a great effort that whatever we teach in the class, it should be learned or it should be recalled by our students anytime. And that is what I feel, I was also a science student, so I feel that I still remember some of the science concepts because after BSc I did my MA, and I feel that how I still remember, and it was the great effort of the teachers that we still remember some of the basic concepts. So yes, classroom management is important. And when I just began with pre-classroom management, why? Because it's very important that what you're going to teach is equally important, and you should share with the students beforehand. Nowadays, in the new normal mode, we have to usually inform them through emails. But apart from them, I feel when we had the proper classroom activities, we used to take the students into groups, and we have our own groups, and with each group we have to interact before the classroom. That means even after when the classroom is over, we are given 15 minutes of time to talk to a particular group of students, and in this way we come closer to the students also. So there is some pre-classroom activity and there is the post-classroom activity also apart from teaching, so that you get to know your students well, and that is why it is important. So communicating with students is a difficult task, as all of you know that we have come into this profession, and education is a very noble profession, and with the students you have to continuously interact. So this is very important, and of course we are not all B.Ed or we are not trained that way. As if we have got some certificate with the training, but all of us, I believe that we all professors are trained in content and pedagogy, and that is why we are teaching the students right now. Okay, but apart from this, all of us have learned the same things from the same books. Maybe our pedagogical issues are the same, and in this technological platform we also have the same issues, but still we all have our individual personality, and interaction with the students has become the need of the hour. It's very important because nowadays when I teach online with the students, I feel most of the students are neglected, because when I have a class of 70 students, I have to cover whatever I have to in that particular session. But sometimes I feel most of the students are neglected also. And then again, I make a point to interact with them on Teams or on different platforms, like we have Cisco WebEx, we teach through that. So then again, I have made groups and they interact with me in the evening after the hours. Okay, so that particular group is supposed to deliver the presentation also, and they communicate with me apart from the classroom sessions. So what is important is your individual personality, and this surely helps the students to know the teacher well, to know the subject well, and even both vice versa. I think that it helps the students also to understand what is being taught in the classroom. Similarly for the professor also, that what the student wants, what are their needs, okay, and what do they expect from us. So this is important. So there are different styles of teacher-student interaction. And the first one is nurturing and parental, and we all as teachers, we need to understand what the students expect from us and when we should mentor them, when a student needs guidance, when a particular student is in depression or not in the proper mode. So we need to understand all these things. But some feel student as an autonomous actor, and some of the teachers feel that the student has choice in learning. If he wants, he can learn. He can sit in the classroom and he can learn. But some people feel that he should learn. Okay, so that is also a personality factor, which totally depends upon the teacher, that what they feel about students. Okay, but one thing is sure, that all of us feel that students are in need of strict structure and control. And this is very important, because we all want our students to be disciplined in the classroom, and we all want to have some sort of control on them. Okay, so it was in 1966 that Diana Baumeister, she gave models of control for the classroom management. Okay, and I'll be speaking today's session is based on her model, and how we can get proper feedback from the students. Okay, so there are three models of control, and these models of control act on different combinations of warmth and control. So both these factors are very important, how much warmth you should have and how much control you should have in the classroom, because a proper combination of warmth and control gives you a proper balance in the classroom. Okay, so this is important, and so there are different styles, and the first one is the permissive, and this is first model of control. This is characterized by high warmth and low control. Okay, so now if some of the teachers, we have high warmth and we tend to mix with the students a lot. We have the classroom atmosphere which is a bit free, and there is low control, and we do not want a high control in the classroom. Low control means not in terms of discipline also, but as an assertive or as a dominating teacher, you are not behaving in that manner, and you are allowing students to do whatever they want to. So that is low control. But you are projecting your high warmth because you want to understand the students. Okay, so this is the first one, which is the permissive style, and it allows the child a great deal of self-regulation and freedom. Okay, so this is important because you allow your students to have freedom in the classroom, and you allow your students to have self-regulation. Okay, second one is authoritarian, which is a combination of low warmth and high control. Okay, so now here the teacher behaves in a very dominating way in the classroom. There is a high control in the classroom, and the students, they always fear the teacher, And because of this, sometimes they are even unable to clear their doubts with the students. Okay, so the low warmth is projected, and then there is this high control. Okay, but in order to shape the behavior of the child, there are definite standards of conduct, and we as professors, I don't need to tell at this time, because we all follow these definite standards of conduct. Okay, the third is the authoritative, which is high warmth and high control. Okay, so this is a combination of high warmth and high control. So when you should project high warmth, when you feel that the students need you, when you need to counsel, when you need to mentor them. And in the classroom, if you want to have a positive environment, you project high warmth and high control. So proper combination of high warmth and high control is important in the classroom. And these models operate in the classroom. So it's very important for us to have a proper balance of both of these. Okay. So authoritative control is dynamic, rational, and issue-oriented manner. It is not something which is done without objective. It is logical. And because you as professor, you know when you should project high control and when you should project high warmth. And especially, I do not know whether about you people, but in IIM Raipur, I have been handling various portfolios, like I am the hostel warden since last 5 years. And I was also the counselor for 3 years. And because when IIM Raipur opened up, there was no proper counselor. So sometimes we used to engage with the students for their issues. And I really felt that that brought closer to the classroom, because some of the issues which they faced in the hostel were actually giving them some sort of stress or some sort of mental stress, which were actually relieved with when they were talking to us. Okay, so some issues or some if you talk somebody with purpose, I feel that you get connected more. Okay, so that is important. So in the authoritarian teacher's classroom, there is the strict classroom order. The classroom is emotionally very cold, very quiet, and the teacher dominates the discussion. So this is important because the teacher feels that she's the whole soul master in the classroom, and she has, and I have seen some of the teachers that they are so strict that sometimes the students are unable to even concentrate in the classroom. And this leads me to explain one of my personal experience, that I was also a science student, and during my 11th and 12th class, I used to really love physics and I wanted to learn physics a lot. But I still remember the teacher, that she was so strict that she had some problem with the noise, and whenever something fell on the ground, like our compass or a pen, then she used to punish us. And in the, I still remember 11th class. Yes. Yes, so I still remember learning vernier calipers and screw gauges, and something or the other used to every time fall down from one or the other students, and this used to really terrorize us that now we will be punished. So we were more concentrated. We used to concentrate more in the classroom on keeping our things well on the table rather than on learning in the classroom. So in this way, we missed great learning, which was supposed to be our basics in 11th and 12th classroom. So this is how sometimes we feel authoritarian teacher, maybe their attitude is correct, but it certainly harms the students. So some sort of, what I mean to say here is that some sort of warmth should be also projected from the teacher's side along with such high control. Okay. So permissive teachers, if you say, I will not also say that permissive teachers are accurate in their conduction, because they may be well liked because you are allowing them freely to do whatever they want to do in the classroom. You're talking with them a lot. You are even going to parties with the students. So these are all permissive teachers, but they may be different from well-respected teachers. And because this is important, if you ask somebody that whom do you respect, surely the student will always feel that if he or she has a great learning from that particular teacher, he or she will surely have that respect for the teacher. So permissive teacher is always talking or always focusing on prioritizing relationships with the students rather than giving them some sort of learning. Okay. So expectations for participation and assignments are there in the less in this classroom, and hence therefore uncontrolled classroom is there. Okay, so students expect a certain degree of order in the classroom. Okay, remember that we all are professional educators. We can be mentors, we can be guides to them, we can be counselors to them, but we cannot become friend for the students. So this is important. So authoritarian teacher is good because sometimes her or his no nonsense approach allows teaching in a predictable structured classroom environment. So when I talk about structured classroom environment, I feel that this is important because the physical setting of the classroom, of course, it matters a lot, but along with them, the students who are having a positive environment, who give you, or when you give a positive environment to the students, when you allow them to study well, I think that is the best classroom environment. Environment may be hostile or unpleasant. Sometimes it happens. With all of us, I think we have experienced as teachers that sometimes the atmosphere of the classroom is not pleasant, and we also feel sometimes that yes, our lecture was not up to the mark on that particular day. Okay, but it's our duty as teachers to make the classroom a positive one, and whatever is missed out, we can always carry out in the next classroom. So the teacher may be disliked or feared by the students, making his or her influence on students one-dimensional. So this one-dimensional conduction of activity is not good. So conducting classroom one-dimensionally is not beneficial for the students, because after all, you are delivering it for whom? For the students. And if they are not getting it from you, whatever you want to deliver, I think they are at a great loss. So it's our duty as teachers to deliver whatever they want to in time. So what is best for the students and their education? So Diana Baumrind says that authoritative stance is the best for the students and for the learning, because it sets the boundaries for a respectful relationship. So this is important, and as Baumrind has given us this framework, and I think that we should follow this authoritative stance of having high warmth and high control. I want to ask from any one or two of you, because I'll keep checking whether you people are hearing me or not. So any one or two who can tell me that which type of teacher or which type of category you belong to. Any one or two participants? The authoritative stance, or permissive teacher, or the authoritarian teacher? Yes. Among the three, if you can just tell me any one. Yes.
Hello, madam.
Yes. Anyone? Yes.
Yeah. I feel I am a permissive teacher, ma'am.
You are a permissive teacher. So you don't teach students in the classroom. You don't allow strict control in the classroom.
Of course, during classroom, I'll be strict only.
Yes.
But why I consider I am a permissive teacher, because apart from classroom also, students can approach me anytime.
Yes. So that is not.
And
yes.
They can come with any kind of problem.
Yes.
So regarding yes.
So they can come up to you for any issues, any of the personal issues also, or any of the issues with the institute or with the teachers, with other teachers also. So anything they can talk to you. But I think that that is not actually fully permissive. That is between permissive and, I think, authoritarian. Okay? Because we all teachers, if we have control in the classroom, then we are not fully permissive. And it's our duty as teachers that we all should entertain, or we all should understand our students, especially when they have some issues. So if you're doing it outside the class, then it's good. But in the classroom, then you should have a proper control and proper warmth. So this is very important. Yes. Any one participant more I would like to have? Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. I am Rachna.
Yes,
yes, ma'am. I am the combination of two. Sometimes I am permissive, and sometimes I am authoritative teacher. So sometimes it depends on the type of student I am getting.
Yes. So that is important. So like I'll share my experience when I am the warden, and when the students come to me for certain issues, I have to talk to them really, because we have our fully residential colleges, because all the students stay in the hostel. So we have to understand if there is some issue or some problem with them. So at that time, we allow them to talk to us freely. But in the classroom, then we have the authoritative stance, which is high warmth and high control both. So this high warmth sometimes, that is why I began my discussion with the pre-classroom or the post-classroom activities or assignments with the students or engagement with the students, because it is important that when you are actually understanding them, when you are actually projecting warmth, it's not always that in the classroom that you have to project warmth. If even outside the classroom also you are projecting warmth, you come in the authoritative stance. And you are having some teachers, they have a high control in the classroom because they want the classroom environment to be in order, to be in a proper structure. So they have high control, but outside the classroom, then they have high warmth also. So I think this is also a good approach for the students. Okay, yes. So positive interaction, as Professor Kirti ma'am, Dr. Kirti ma'am also told us that pulling students into the classroom is a big task, and how a teacher interacts with students is equally important, because whatever you want to teach them, if it is not really understood by them, then I think your teaching will not go well, and it's surely a wastage of time. So this is your interaction with the students matters a lot. Okay. So students desire an authoritative approach from their teachers. So it's not only that we feel that we should have high warmth and high control. Also, the students also want their teachers to have high control and high warmth. They do not want their teachers to have only high warmth in the classroom or only high control in the classroom. So a teacher should be a proper balance of both warmth and control. Okay. So positive interaction gives students a sense of comfort and belonging. So this is very important, that if you want to show some sort of comfort or belongingness, then of course, positive interaction helps in that. It enhances motivation and facilitates students' social development. So this is important because without motivation, without your help, the students will not be able to come to the class or attend your class. And especially, it's a big challenge for all of us in online teaching. I do not know when we teach, possibly it happens with all of us now when we are teaching online. Many of the students, they'll just log in and they go away. It's very difficult to make them sit in a classroom unless and until you have a proper classroom session. So we plan our sessions accordingly so that the students get engaged. We have one case study in 1.5 hours. We have one activity also. So we carry out even activities in groups in our breakout sessions. I have group discussions in breakout sessions. So we have clubbing of students. We have made different groups. So we interact with them after the class. But in the classroom also, we make sure that we talk to them. If they've done something well, they should be appreciated. If they've spoken well, like being a communication teacher, it's our duty to give them feedback from time to time. So if they are writing well, so I surely appreciate them. If they need to be corrected, that should be, when you're doing it in public, I think that should be also taken care of, especially with students who are doing post-graduation, or even I teach executive students. Now they are all working people, and when I want to correct them, I make sure that they should not feel offended, and at the same time they should learn also. So this is very important. Okay, so the overall development of the student depends on the teacher, and that is why it's important for all of us to take care of the classroom needs. So the teacher's primary responsibility is for pulling the students into classroom activities. So design your activities in such a way that the students feel engaged. The students feel that yes, they should attend your class. And this is very important. So there are different roles of a teacher. So there is a receptive teacher and approachable teacher versus domineering or disconnected teacher. Okay, and all these environment, they help you in building a particular environment. So if you are a receptive and approachable teacher, possibly you will feel that the students get more connected to you. They will feel that you are approachable. They can talk to you on any issues. Whereas if you are a dominating person, then I think that the students, they will feel disconnected and they will not approach you very often. And this will not help you in building a positive environment. And that is why it's important for all of us. And maybe out of fear, they don't want to talk to you, or maybe because of, and that is why when I first began with the slides, I told you it's our individual personality which helps us in building a proper classroom environment. Okay. So motivating students to participate is a big challenge. Okay, of course, towards the end, I'll ask you that what different things that you are adopting nowadays, especially in online teaching, to participate or to make the students participate in the classroom. So social development of students is surely important, and by acting towards them in a non-controlling manner, you are actually not giving them proper environment for them to build. Okay, so it's very difficult and very challenging to manage students in different classrooms, and classroom management is surely become an issue nowadays, because if you have so many students in classroom, like a classroom after 60 or 70 students, which most of the technical institutes have, I believe, because I have also taught students in engineering colleges, and I feel that it's a big classroom. Similarly, in IIMS, I have a classroom of 70 students. As well as I teach my PhD students, I teach academic and professional writing to them. And when I teach my PhD scholars, they may be 6 or 7 in number. When I teach executives, I'm a visiting, let me tell you, I'm a visiting faculty at IIM Calcutta and IIM Lucknow Noida campus. So when I teach IIM Lucknow Noida campus, they are 30 students, because it's an IPMX program that is called International Program for Working Executives. Okay. So then I teach 30 students, so different classrooms, and I have a totally different experience in all the classrooms. When I feel that when you have to tackle 70 students, you need a different sort of skills to manage them. So how to plan those activities, so how to bring them into class, this is a big challenge nowadays. But with 30 students, I think that is the most approachable number, and I especially have that even in when I go to IIM Calcutta, what they do for communication, and it's my suggestion to all the communication teachers, if they are here, that giving feedback, or if you want to really improve the communication skills of the students, the batch should be less. So what they do, that for only for the communication class, they separate the batches. They make many sections only for communication, so that the teacher can particularly focus on communication skills of each and every student. Otherwise, in a large classroom, it becomes very difficult. And even in other subjects also, I feel that possibly one-dimensional teaching, especially in technical subjects, may be possible. But in my subject, I really feel that it's a great challenge, and it becomes really very difficult. Okay. So how to motivate students? So you have to first find ways to help the students to put the material to use. So whatever you're teaching them, how it is practically applicable to them, how they are using it, whether they are understanding it, and whether they are really showing their interest in the subject. This also you need to find. So understand your students a lot, and I think that this will help you out. Capitalize on students' existing needs. So what they want from you now. Okay. And also you have to keep in mind about the future needs, but at least for the existing needs, whatever you are teaching them is really helping them out, and how are you teaching them? So that is important. Find and use examples that are meaningful, interesting, and relevant to students' lives and future professions. Now, this is very important, that illustrations and examples, they play a very important role in students' lives. So if you feel that, yes, they should be meaningful and they should not be irrelevant examples. And especially I feel that when I teach IIM students, I usually give examples from corporates, because I know that they are interested in that and their future goal is to go into the corporate world. So then I have to take care that whenever I'm giving, and they listen very carefully when you give example from where they actually want to go. But before that, you have to find ways to help students. You have to find how to teach them. You have to find examples, you find illustrations, you have to find short stories. And I don't know if short stories or teaching with stories has become a new, it is totally a new study, because nowadays most of the corporates are using these short stories for the development of their employees. And even we in IIMS, we are teaching through short stories. So this is important, and short story may not be a literary story from a literature. It can be any story which the student, because this is also one way of engaging the students to show or to illustrate something through your personal life or through short stories. discuss current issues that you find challenging in your field. Okay, so whatever is challenging in your field, you can always discuss with them. Okay, so now whenever I sit with my students, and especially we discuss advertisements, we discuss persuasion with them, and how it is used in particular advertisement, how it is used in a particular paper, or how it is used in a particular story, or even how it is used in a particular movie. So even when we are talking about movies, we talk about the current issues that are going on in the field, especially in my field. So that is how even you can talk to the students. It's not always that you talk to them personally. So this also shows your understanding of the subject matter, and this surely helps the students. Okay. So plan field trips, and I think this is important for all the technical teachers, because they do this planning field trips or trips outside. This also helps you to gel with the students, but again with proper control. So this is important. You invite guest speakers and other events that promote interest for the students. So this is important, and this I think all the institutes do nowadays, because we have a whole lot of guest speakers from all over the corporate world. They come and they deliver there, and nowadays it's all online. So they do this for our students. So there are student interaction factors, as I told you, that know your students well. This is important. If you say that you have taught 70 students and you don't know your students, again, it's not good. So know your students well. Create a welcoming learning environment. So this is important, because if you are too much of a dominating teacher, then I feel that the students will not be able to learn well from you. Set and communicate expectations. It's important, because unless and until you set expectations and you do not communicate those expectations with the students, I think they will not come up to the mark. Okay. Encourage students to interact positively with one another. Now, this is important, peer-to-peer learning that we have in the classrooms. And I feel that it is one of the important factors, because most of the time what I do in the classroom is that I make the students learn from each other. Even in my written communication or in my oral communication, I ask students also to give feedbacks. And when they receive feedbacks from their friends, they feel more closer, and they feel, yes, it might be accurate also. Ultimately, our feedback matters a lot, but they also feel that, yes, they must have gone wrong somewhere. Okay? So this is important, that there should be positive interaction amongst the students also. Have multiple opportunities for interaction between the instructor, individual students, small student groups, and the whole class. So that's what I told you, that we have this small group interaction also. We have this large group interaction also. So in the classroom, what I do is I prefer large group interaction, because there itself I come to know about some of the issues of the students, and then I ask them to possibly I give them a time, and then they interact with me after the classroom. So in a week, I feel that I give 3 days to the students to interact. And in the evening after the class, then I surely interact. Like nowadays, when I have in the class, when I teach, I don't have so much of time for this, especially in the case studies, that all the students are unable to answer, and they want to, but I don't have time, because if I'm teaching 70 students, maybe I'm not able to have the responses from all 70 students. So then even after the classroom, I make sure that I involve and engage those students and at least listen to them. So this is very important. And as all of you know, that listening is the most neglected skill of communication. We all want to be heard, but we don't want to hear. Okay. And that is why I always say that God has given us 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we should speak less and we should listen more. And that is what we should practice, and listen to them, so that they also get to know you better. Okay. Now I'll talk about feedback, because effective feedback in the classroom is important. So when you should give feedback, so give feedback on time. If you're giving it possibly 1 semester after, it will not work. So on time feedback is important, and feedback is most effective if the student is still engaged in the subject matter. So if the student is still studying that particular subject, and if you're giving the feedback, then I think that it is most effective. You can even take quizzes, assignments, role plays for them, and then you can give feedback immediately, so that they understand you better. Okay. So feedback should correct major issues and misconceptions. So this is important, and it should not focus on small nitty-gritties or small issues. Rather, the bigger issues or misconceptions, they should be corrected. The feedback should not only focus on correcting some faults or some weaknesses, but they should also provide students where they can go next and how they can improve on and what they should focus on next for their improvement. So this is important, and it always takes time and experience to gauge the appropriate amount of feedback for each student, and you have to really spend your valuable time to give them feedback. Okay, and it's very important as teachers that we should take out time for them to give proper feedback. In IIMS, like what I do, we have I do 2 exercises. Like one is that I record each and every student's presentation, and then I show the presentation to the student that in the classroom among all students that this is where you went, you need improvement, and this is how you can improve on. And then again in my diary, I have 1 page for each student where I write, and then I teach in 2 terms, and then I compare how much he has improved in second term. And then after second term, I take when my sessions are over, I have 10 students, a meet of 10 students every day, and then I give them the correct feedback that now this is where you have improved and this is what you should improve on, or you have done perfectly well, but 10 students per day, and this goes on for 1 month, and that is how I'm able to interact with 260 students after even my sessions are over. So our duties are not only catered to the classroom sessions, we have to take care that yes, the students have really improved from us or benefited from us. Okay. And each and every student, you will find that the feedback varies from students to student. Don't forget to only comment on weakness, comment on their strengths also, because that will give them some sort of positivity and that will help them to overcome some of their weaknesses. Okay. So what are the different modes through which you can give feedback? So the first one is oral, written, visual, or you can even demonstrate. So that is also one way. Second is interactive feedback, and I prefer that because as I told you that when I interact with the students after the class, I always feel that interacting with the students has given me the students really understand when you sit face to face with them. So that is the best way of giving feedback. Use visuals or demonstrations for visual learners. So some of them who cannot hear you, who cannot understand you, you can even give visual feedbacks. Use written when the student needs to be able to refer to the feedback later. Some of the students, they tell me that, madam, you please provide me my feedback on the email. So I do that so that they can also remember that some particular points where they need to improve on. So that is also one medium. Use oral when there is too much of information for the students to read. So when it is a lengthy feedback, then possibly you should not give them in written. Okay, use oral feedbacks. Okay. So what type of audience we should give feedback to? It can be given to individual students, group of students, or the entire class. So here we as teachers, we have to give feedback to the entire class. Give feedback to individuals when needed to address their own performance or learning. So this is important that when you need to address the performance or the learning, then only the feedback should be given to individuals. Otherwise, as a whole, also you can give feedback. Individual feedback makes students feel valued and it is motivating. So I don't know about other, but I am sure that in our classrooms, all the students want feedback, and this helps them or really motivates them to be there in the classroom. Feedback to the whole class is appropriate when most of the class is missing a concept or needs reinforcement. This I hope that all of us know, and that is what we do in the class. Now the content of the feedback may vary in focus, function, specificity, and tone. The feedback is descriptive and specific enough to be valuable to the student and provide them direction. Now, this is important because it can be in a descriptive manner and it can be even specific, and how it is valuable for the students. As I told you, it should not be overly nitty-picky. That means if you're trying to correct each and every small behavior of the students also, it is not good, because that will not be able to then they will not be able to focus on the major issues. It should be delivered in non-judgmental and positive way. Now, as teachers, this is our biggest responsibility, and we at times, like, we also have feedbacks, and I'll be sharing my feedback form with you people, that how our students give feedback to us. And what they do, that they write everything in and they rate it on a 5-pointer scale. And it's important for us to have more than 3.5 out of 5. And if you get continuously for 3 years less than 3.5, then your job is at question, and maybe your appraisals may not go well. So for the appraisal and for to go ahead for the promotions, we need to have, because teaching carries a lot of marks in our appraisals. So on a 5-pointer scale, we are rated by the students. And when sometimes it happens that some of the students, even in out of 300 students, if one student feels that you were partial to somebody, because it is something natural, one-sided, which and it's about perception. The students may feel so. Even we as teachers, we do not do anything in the classroom that makes them feel. But if they feel that we are somewhere prejudiced, we are somewhere biased, or we are somewhere judgmental, then I think it affects them. Okay, so instructors or teachers should choose words that convey support and respect. So this is important. It should be clear, the feedback should be clear, and the instructor should verify that the student understands the feedback. It should be written in a way so that, or told in a way so that the students understand it. Okay, so this is important. Feedback for the self. Now these are some of the important facts that nobody likes to have performance reviews. I think all of us, we as teachers, we feel that whenever we get performance reviews, we surely are at that particular moment of time, we feel that yes, we should get always good performance reviews. Everyone keeps quiet and says as little as possible. So when you want to have feedback for the self, then you feel that somebody should not talk more. Fears and assumptions about feedback often manifest them in maladaptive behaviors. Okay, so for example, like for the sake of feedback, many people do some activities which may be out of jealousy, which may be out of denial, which may be out of procrastination. And I think this is a different type of activity which people indulge in for the self-feedback. Okay, I just want to ask some of you, can you see this picture? Yes, any one or two participants? Yes, again?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you comment on this? Yes, can you comment on this picture? Anyone?
Ma'am, we should not weigh a person on the same scale. That's the thing.
Yes, yes. So we should not weigh all the students on the same scale. It's important. Yes. So it's you see that in the figure you can find a monkey also, you can find a fish also, you can find a dog also, and you can find an elephant. And if you are asking, and if you are taking the exam for all this, I think climbing on the tree, I think monkey will be able to do well, but I don't know fish will be able to do or fish will be able to climb that tree. But if you ask fish to swim, I think the others may not be able to swim that fast other than the fish. So everybody, each and every student has his or her mental capacity or ability. And as teachers, we need to understand these capacity. So it's very important for all of us that we should understand our students, and we are actually making a set pattern of taking the exam, but we do not know that whether they have reached that level to give that exam. That means our learning has benefited to them, or whether they have really understood from our learning. So this is important. Okay. Yes. So feedback is an important tool for shaping behaviors and fostering learning that will drive performance. It is an opportunity for development and career growth. So this is important. And most of the students say when they are giving feedback to us, they say that they dislike giving feedback as they don't think that it is as effective as it could be. And I'm just sharing my experience because it sometimes happens that after the last session, like for example, if it's a half credit course for us, it's a 10 session course for us. Like for me, business communication is a half credit course in term 1 and term 2. We have trimesters in IIMs. So when in term 1, after the 10th session, that means after the last session, we have feedback session. I mean, it's in my absence that the students will give feedback, and the PGP office or the MBA office is supposed to take feedback from the students. Now what happens? Some of the students don't realize the importance of this feedback, and they think that 3-4, 3-4, 3-4, just marking it without even thinking, or 2-3, or maybe 3-3-3, and they give it randomly without even thinking, because they do not understand the importance of this feedback. But when they want their own feedback, they want to be given very properly, and especially with respect to their presentations or respect to honing their communication, they feel that madam, this time you did not give me feedback properly, and this time that maybe the time was less, so ma'am, I want a detailed feedback. So they want detailed feedback for them, but they don't want to give, or they don't want to understand the importance of feedback for others. So this is very important. Okay. So remember, feedback is an opportunity for development and career growth, and it should not be taken in negative terms. If any feedback is negative, or if they suggest any area for me also for improvement, I openly discuss with them in the classroom that this is what you people wrote, and this is what I will try to improve on, and this is what again I'll try to focus on. So this much acceptance should be there with all of us. Okay. As I told you, on the receiving end, they say that they don't get sufficient feedback that they can actually use. Okay. If the feedback is positive, embrace it openly without being self-deprecating or understating your achievements. Okay. So if the feedback is positive, again, you should appreciate, you should thank your participants, and without expression of any disapproval. Giving praise always helps to improve your self-esteem. So it is important that you must thank them, thank your reviewers, or thank the students also for giving them positive feedback. Okay, so this is important, and this is the way that you receive feedback. If the feedback is negative, distinguish between the content of the feedback and your reaction to it. Okay, it is natural to react emotionally to negative feedback as if it is an attack. Most of us, we sometimes feel that if somebody has written negatively about us, we feel it's a personal attack to us, but it's not always so. Embrace it openly, as I said. Pause before you say anything and ask probing questions if you're not clear what is meant. Okay. So I always take my feedback form once I get it, I always take it in the classroom, and I always say that you felt this way, then again, I'll try to improve. Like most of us, nowadays we get feedback, like some of us are not very much used to this open platforms or this online platforms. This is the common feedback most of the teachers are getting nowadays, and we equally feel responsible. Yes, because this is the new normal and this is the first time that we are teaching, so things may go wrong somewhere. So then this is important that you accept and you improve on. For example, in what way do you find me unsupportive? What kind of support would you like? You can even interact with the students, and you can have your feedback also. And if similarly, you can give them also feedback. So this is important, and this is what I say, that in the post classroom sessions, we have even the students are engaged in the night, late hours of the night, and since all the students stay in the campus, and being the hostel warden, sometimes in the evening if I get time, sometimes in the even while taking a round in the hostel, when I get time, I interact with them, I meet with them, and then I always ask them that what kind of support would you like apart from the studies also, even in the studies. But particularly during my rounds, most of the students interact with me regarding the books also, regarding their personal issues also, regarding the issues in the hostel. Even I am also the chairperson of sexual harassment prevention of sexual harassment committee, and we face a lot of issues because since the boys and the girls, they are there in the same campus, so again interacting with them on these issues is also very important. Okay, so remember, when you are giving feedback, focus on performance, not personality. Remember that performance is important, but what happens usually is we see the personality and we rate that particular person. So this is wrong. So focus on the performance, focus on the skills, focus on the delivery rather than on personality. The most effective way to discuss areas regarding improvement is to focus on observable actions and not attitudes. Remember, you should not give feedback on attitudes. You should rather focus on the actions. By limiting your criticism to what you see with your own two eyes, you will be more likely to refrain from judgments that can trigger a defensive reaction. So this is important, that you will be likely to have some judgments or trigger some judgments, and and similarly you can prevent a defensive reaction. Okay, so this was all my PPTs were on. Yes, I would just like to get back. Yes. I would like to share one video with you people, if you can see, and it's very important how Bill Gates says that we should, why teachers need feedback. So it's a very good video and I would like to share with all of the participants. I just want to ask whether it is audible. Any?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's audible, no? The video is audible, no? Okay, yes. And visible also. Yes, yes.
Ma'am, it's not visible, I think.
It's not
But
visible.
Ma'am, it's not visible.
And
Ma'am, your
there
video
is
is
no
not visible to us.
Not be visible.
How
at
can
the-
we make it so?
Yeah, ma'am. Video is not visible.
Video is not visible.
May I try, ma'am?
Yes, yes,
no,
sure.
video is not shared, I think.
Yes, yes.
You have to share it to us.
I think we have.
We are not able to see.
Okay.
You are supposed to share your video.
But I'm not finding the option. Anyways, again, I'll try.
Ma'am, is it on your screen, ma'am?
Yes, it was there, but now it's not there. Yes, it's there on my desktop.
So you have to click on that desktop option, and that you have to select one arrow is there on your screen, might be
Yes, yes, there option.
parallelly to that red option where it is written over there, leave.
Yes, yes, yes.
One arrow is there, so you first of all you have to click on that arrow.
Yes.
Now you will get multiple
Desktop.
windows and
Yeah, desktop. I've got desktop.
yes, yes. Yes, ma'am. Now it is there. Yes, yes.
But I'm still unable to find. Let me see.
It is there on our screen.
No, you go here, ma'am.
Let me see. Let me try because I'm more used to Cisco platform.
Ma'am, I'm sharing it. You just don't. I'm sharing the video.
Okay, okay, sure, sure. वीडियो नहीं शेयर हो पा रहा है, वो लोग कर रहे हैं, मुझे दिख भी नहीं रहा है कि शेयर हो रहा है। Is it audible now? Is it visible?
It's visible but not audible.
Okay, not audible.
Hearing, ma'am,
as
you have
well
to
audible.
choose allow computer sound. Allow computer sound when you're sharing.
Allow computer sound. Okay, let me just see. Device settings.
When you're sharing, it's coming on the top above desktop. Include computer sound. It's just in the frame itself.
Yes, yes, yes.
You
I've
can
got it. Yes. I think now it should be
कोई नहीं
audible.
है.
Yes. Is it audible now?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes, ma'am. Not audible.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not fair to students, and it's putting America's global leadership in the world at risk. Sorry, Sharon. So today I want to talk how we can help tools for improvement they want how we serve. Let's start by asking, there's one who's doing well. Unfortunately, there's no international ranking and these people have so I moved to countries who perform well
Excuse me,
academically.
sound is coming, but the video is not coming.
Yes, ma'am.
Help impact most teachers get. Consider the ranking. Until recently, U.S. is 1% of we're not even in the top 10. Just got one word of feedback. Satisfaction. Tied for 15. If all my bridge ice.
Neetu ma'am, you can stop sharing, please.
Please share the
better
madam. Video tab.
better than the class. How would I know what I was doing differently? 11 out of 14 districts are. The U.S. is tied for 15th in reading, but we're 20 give them almost no feedback that actually helps them improve their practice in math. Our team.
Yes, can I start? Let me see if I can show it to you well.
I'm not able to see
Hello.
anything.
Hello. What happened? All of a sudden there is total silence.
Due to some technical issue, it did not. Yes, due to might be some technical issue, the video is unable to play. So we would like to request. Yes, ma'am, you are audible and you can continue with your questions.
The video is also visible and audible.
The video is not there.
Okay. No, it was visible. It was visible, ma'am.
I'll just share the link afterwards with the participants. I think that will be better. Yes.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Yes. So I just want to share one more. Yes. I just want to share one more feedback form with you, and let me see if I can do that. And yes. So this is our feedback form that we usually do to IIMs, and that this is for our students. And I hope this is visible. Yes, Rekha,
yes, ma'am.
Yes,
yes, it's very clear to us.
Yes. So this is, I just want to tell you that Yes. So these are the criteria.
मेरा तो चल रहा है
Below average.
वीडियो यहाँ है ना, ये चल
1
रहा है
is
वीडियो।
average. 3 is good. 4 is very good, and 5 is excellent. So this is
चलेगा वैसे ही शेयर करती हूँ।
so this is the marks, or this is the criteria for our course outline. So course outline is important, that we need to prepare. Then how inspiring and interesting the course was. So this also carries marks, and we have to take care that we need to make the course very inspiring and interesting. Then appropriateness of reading material. So whatever reading material that we are giving beforehand to the students, whether it is appropriate or not. Adequacy of the course coverage. So whether the course was covered properly or not. Effectiveness of communication, as communication skills are very important and one cannot go without it. So whether it's for all the subjects, not only for my subject. So whether the teacher was able to effectively communicate. So this is important. Level of interaction in the class. Again, and that is why this session is important, because how to interact and how to manage the students in the classroom is important. Clarifications to doubts and questions raised by participants. So this is important, because unless and until you answer their doubts and queries, your classroom session is not complete. Timely feedback from faculty. So how feedback is important for the students, and we need to take particular care to give feedback to all the students. Overall rating of the course, overall rating of the instructor. And then there are a few questions like, how have you benefited from this course, and what suggestions do you make to improve the delivery of the course? Okay, so there are only 2 questions, and one will the students, they give their own suggestions that how can we improve the delivery of the course and how they have particularly benefited. So I was talking on this particular scale only, that if we get below 3.5, that means our performance was not good. But if you get 4 and 5, it's good. And that is why we need to take care that we have to deliver a class in such a manner so that at least all the students are really benefited from that. So this was about our course outline. I would just like to ask if you have any queries, or if you want to ask me anything regarding the session. Yes. Any participants? I hope I am audible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Any queries, anything that anybody wants to ask, so that I can end the session fast, so that your sessions go on time. Anybody has any questions? No questions for classroom management or student-teacher interaction, or being a counselor, or any issues that you have faced? And still, if you want to have some suggestions from my side.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Hello. Yeah.
My name is Tribhuvan. I am from Government Polytechnic College, Kaladungi.
Okay. Yes, Tribhuvan.
From Nainital.
Yes,
ma'am, my
yes.
question is this: there is a different type of psychology among the students.
Yes.
But whenever we are in the classroom, how to tackle with these type of psychologies? Because whenever we are in a conversation, when we are in a conversation mode with the students, how to tackle the some type of rude student who make just noise in the class. How
Yes.
to tackle with these guys?
Yes. So some students who are too rude or who are not attending the class, I think you can prioritize those students, and we as teachers, we remember those students very well. And I think that engaging them more in the classroom will make them polite also. And of course, I feel that particularly giving examples or illustrations to them and making them more and more active in the classroom will surely help them out. Because this I have tried, 1 or 2 students who were too noisy or too rude sometimes, because as you told, all of us have our different mental makeups, and all of us have our own perceptions also, and it's not very easy to change. But since you are a classroom instructor, it's your duty that everybody is privileged. So I feel that we should give importance to them more rather than dictating them or criticizing them. If you prioritize them, if you give importance to them, if you involve them more in their discussion, if you appreciate them, I think that will help you out. That is the best way, I feel. Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Any other participant?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes,
Priyanka
Priyanka
here. Ma'am, many times it is found that in context of feedback, like certain students are very influensive. So
Yes.
even though whatever they opinion they have, they try to influence the other student, good
Yes.
number of student in the class, as per what they are expecting others to do in
Yes.
as per their way. So how to tackle this thing?
Now this is very important because as this is what I told you, that we need to be too much unbiased. We need to be too much careful in our classrooms. It's not that whatever we want to deliver, we have delivered and then we have come back. So to ensure that each and every student has received whatever you want to give, you should also try and talk to them more and more, and this will change their perspective. Because whatever you're telling is absolutely true, Priyanka ma'am, because the students get influenced by other students very easily. Okay, this teacher is like that. And in a way, ultimately your feedback is not so good. And sometimes it suffers also, or sometimes it's too good also. So I think that we should take care that whatever we are delivering is unbiased, involving all the students. And I think that will surely benefit you. So the whole soul duty relies on us because we understand the psychology of the students very well. And I should not say this, but we understand the teachers also very well, because feedback matters a lot for the teachers also. And some of the students, they mix with the teachers so well, and then they rate high without even thinking that the other teacher has delivered or worked hard so much for the sessions, and we have truly benefited from the session. And that is why in one of the slides I told, focus on don't focus on personality, focus on performance. And this is what they don't like, and they don't do also sometimes. So they rather see the personality of the teacher. Oh, she's an amicable teacher, mixes well, going out well, talking to or all sorts of things with you, then he or she may be a good teacher for that particular student. And that is how the whole class is influenced. But we need to take care that whatever we are delivering is unbiased. At the same time, we are engaging students in a proper manner. Okay, I hope this answers your questions, Priyanka ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning.
This is Dr. Ranjit Kumar from Telangana, madam.
Yes, Dr. Ranjit.
Yeah, my question is, we used to take each class.
I'm unable
to I'm audible, madam. I'm audible, madam.
Yes, a bit audible. Yes.
Yeah. So my question is, madam, in our college, we used to take the feedback online after end of the semester.
Yes.
But what we have observed is the students will not take that as very seriously, and they are not giving properly. What I just observed is they don't read the questions. They put options like randomly, and they will submit it. So how to overcome this difficulty, madam? Can you give idea for this?
Yes, what happened, we before in the last session, like we as instructors, we speak about some of the components of feedback, or our office. Nowadays we have stopped communicating, and similarly, like you told, we used to have offline feedbacks on hard copies, and we felt that when it was offline, sometimes it happened that, not in our institutes, but we heard that the feedbacks were manipulated, because in hard copies there was a great possibility of manipulation also. But in offline, at least this much we cannot say. Still, online is so much secure, but it was much better than the hard copy feedback. But then what the office did was that before sending those feedback forms to the student, they used to have one classroom activity where they briefed the students about a teacher's feedback, or about the feedback form in general, not about the teachers, but the feedback form, that these parameters are important for your instructors and you should read them well, and then only you should mark them. So this is what the students do now. At least they understand, they read the form, and then they rate it. But knowing them about certain components, that how is it important for us, I hope that they really then think it over on those lines. So this is important. Yes. Anything else? Yes.
Hello, madam.
Hello. Yes.
Ma'am, myself Sujata O.
Yes.
from Mumbai. Ma'am, generally taking feedback at the end of the semester is a wrong policy, I think.
Yes, it should be in between also. Yes. So when you have long classes, yes, Sujata ma'am, I agree, because when you are teaching throughout the semesters, feedback should be taken after every 2 months, because that will give a scope of improvement for you also and for students also. But like for me, when I have only 10 sessions means 10 lectures. So that is why it is always at the end of 10 lectures. But suppose if you are engaged in throughout, like for one semester, then after every 2 months, feedback can be taken. Similarly, you can also give feedback to the students very frequently. It's both ways. Yes.
Ma'am, generally during this pandemic situation, what I have observed as a mentor to the students,
Yes.
so within a 2 month of time span, we were in completing the lockdown, and students like they were in the depression, like they have to go a long way sitting at home and what to do and all that. So our institute introduced some policy like engage students in the course kind of that they can get.
You were lost in between. I cannot hear you.
Ma'am, as a mentor to the students, and due to this
Yes.
pandemic situation, I have got so many messages from the students that they were in the depression, sitting at home and what to do. So, like, how to go about to with the students, because there were like some suicidal case also where the students have taken such.
Yes, and this has become very common, and so I may not be the right person because I'm not somebody from psychology, but still I feel talking to your students more at this time, motivating them, will surely help them. And this is important because all the students, even the kids at our home, are facing these issues. So I feel that the closer you are to them, talking them more about the issues and giving them a positive response and engaging them in some activities will surely help them. So this is important.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. So I think.
Ma'am, shall I ask the last question? This is Dr. Mahesh Palkar again.
I think somebody online, and that is what is giving me disturbance.
सैटरडे भी थे 3-4 लोग थे हम आप में और
Unmuted their mic.
हर्षल सर
Switch off the mic.
The mic is not switched off. That is what is
Hello.
causing.
Please switch off your mics.
Ma'am, could you please highlight more on the student-teacher relationship is a holy relationship.
Yes. A respectful relationship. Yes.
A respectful relationship. So, how to strengthen this? Trust and mutual respect are the main factors.
Yes.
Could you highlight more on this, ma'am?
Yes. So I feel that when the students are really in distress, when they really need you, when they want some genuine help from you, we should not always stay back. We should always help them out. At the same time, we should not set ourselves so free that the students can approach us anytime they want. So that distance, that respect, that line of distance should be there between the teachers and the students. So that's what I feel. And I particularly feel that we should not let so much free so that the students should take advantage. But at the same time, whenever they need our help, we should not stay back. And that will help to strengthen our relationship. And building trust is important. Once you do something good for them, once you show that you are genuinely concerned for them, I think that even if it's a small issue, they understand that this particular teacher is concerned for us. So I think that helps in gaining trust and respect. Okay, so that's what I think you can do for them. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Rekha Doot ma'am, I think I can leave now because I have session at 12 and
Yes, ma'am.
okay. So with this, I would
Hello,
like to
ma'am.
thank. Yes, Neetu ma'am, yes. So I would just like to leave all of you on thinking note that how much classroom management is important, especially in online sessions and what you can do to improve them. And I hope I'll meet you in person also some near future. I would like to thank again IPS Academy for giving me an opportunity to deliver lecture here. Thank you, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much
and
for
of
your
course,
valuable time.
Yes,
And I ask all the participants, I request all the participants that what ma'am was talking about the feedback, we'll be mailing you, and the link of the video also you'll get on your mail IDs. So thank you all. We have a 15 minutes break for then. We'll start on quarter to 12. 11:45 we'll be starting with the second sessions. Thank you all.
So thank you,
ma'am, once again.
participants. Without participants, without my audience, I cannot go ahead. So all my participants, a very big thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. It was
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am,
Thank you.
Thank you,
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Just a query that do we have attendance for
Thank
session
you
one?
very much.
Yes, we have downloaded it, ma'am. Actually, this team has, we have downloaded the attendance.
Redmi यही लाई ना 5 Pro. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. So we'll meet after 15 minutes. Kindly join us after 15 minutes. For attendance will be fine. Attend.
Link will be same for second session.
लेकिन ना मैं ये जानना चाह रही थी मेरा Gmail ID हो गया पासवर्ड.
Link is the same, ma'am.
The link will be same for all these sessions, and each and every session we are going to download your attendance because the 80% of attendance is required from AICTE, and feedback also we are going to send email as well at the end of the session, at the end of the day. And within 15 minutes, we are resuming with the next session. And thank you, Archana. Yes.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask the total duration for today's session. Like, I mean, for the entire day, it will be from 9:30 to what time?
The first session begins at 10 and it is going to be wind up by 11:30. And then next session we are going to resume by 11:45 and that is going to be wind up by 12:30. So we have 3 sessions in a day and we have sent you the brochure also on your WhatsApp group and on your email. How can we mark attendance?